doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
Doing great here too. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. I'm glad that I'm able to talk to you about the brand new Denner Shermann album that you are awesomely a part of.
Nothing I like better than talking about myself. It's one of my favorite things.
So just to start it off, for people who don't know, how did this whole band start with you getting involved?
Yeah, I've told the story a bunch of times. It's like there was an article that came out that, announced Hank and Michael were going to do an album. And me being a huge Mercyful Fate, King Diamond fan, I was like, oh my God. And then the article said they were going to have multiple singers. So I hit up Hank on Facebook saying, hey, my name is Sean. I sing in a band Cage. I don't know if you've ever heard of me, but I'm a big fan. I'd love to, be considered to sing on a song. And he answered me back on, I was thinking about you, and in a few months, once we get closer to making it happen, I'll hit you up. And I was just so excited that Hank even answered my message, man. I was such a fanboy, going, oh my God, Hank Shermann responded to my message. And so that was just like, so killer. And then a few months later, he's like, hey, message me up, are you still interested in doing the song? I'm like, oh, absolutely. So he sent me a track that was really like Painkiller-ish, which ended up being the song War Witch on the Satan's Tomb EP. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do something cool with this. And then he sent me another one that ended up being Satan's Tomb. And I immediately, upon hearing that, I went into my studio and recorded the chorus to that track and sent it off to him. And I'm like, God, I was just, pins and needles. Like, God, I hope he loves it. What if he hates it? Like, oh, shit, stressing out, waiting for a response. And next thing you know, he's like, hey, do you want to do all 4 songs on the EP? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of how it was. It was that, that chorus of Satan's Tomb that really sold it. And since then, Hank and I have done the majority of composing the songs together, and we become like a really good writing team. And, Michael then comes in and makes suggestions and adds his flavor on top of it. And so far, it's been a really, really cool process. But if you would have told me back in, whenever I first got into King Diamond and Mercyful Fate that I'd be singing with Hank Shermann and Michael Denner, I would have never, ever believed it.
And it's such a cool thing to see, too, because your voice fits so perfectly for the project. And just with a killer EP coming out last year, and then now the new album that's going to be coming out in just a couple weeks, I mean, it really feels like now the band is completely tight and everything is just rocking and rolling now.
Yeah, now it's like, I think when people hear the album, they're, they'll see, okay, it'll be identified as to what it is, I think it's, we have 12 songs that we've done now, and I think that's going to, like I said, personify what the band's all about. Hopefully win over some of the detractors that are, like, he's not King Diamond, like he knocks. So hopefully some of those people will come around. But I'm excited about it because Hank's favorite band is like 70s Judas Priest. Of course, Judas Priest is my favorite band. I'm more, I was more into the 80s Judas Priest. I was kind of a late bloomer into it. And then, my love for all things Mercyful Fate and King Diamond, I think really helps us, bond as a writing team. And, you've heard the album, so you can maybe attest to that.
Oh, very much so. I especially love the diversity that's in the album, too, because it's not just all faster-paced Mercyful Fate songs like someone who hasn't heard the album would maybe think it sounds like. I mean, there's a lot of slower stuff on there. There's a lot of grooving Black Sabbath parts to it. There's, of course, a lot of high-paced energy that's going along with it as well. It's very diverse, and it feels like the band is just so fresh right now. And I could just see this growing bigger and better from here on out.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. That's what we said, after we, settled on those songs, and we went back and looked, and like, man, this really covers a wide range of, metal styles and, like you said, tempos, and, there's the Judas Priest style songs, there's the Mercyful Fate style songs, there's the, Denner Shermann, amalgamation song. So I think you're right. It does cover a lot of ground, and hopefully people dig that.
Do you have any particular favorite songs that are on the album?
Yeah, I mean, Son of Satan, I really love. I'm really proud of that one. I love Escape from Hell because that's probably more of a painkiller vibe. Pentagram and the Cross is one that, early on we were writing it is, really was rocking. And then, I dig Masters of Evil and The Wolf Feeds at Night. So that's like most of them. So those are the ones I keep going back listening to. I mean, when you're a artist and you make a record, you're listening to these songs so much during the writing process that you kind of, after the album's done, you don't listen to it for a while, and then you go back and really enjoy it. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So after taking a break, I'm going back and just cranking it in my headphones now.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I mean, just getting the album a few days ago and just I've been trying to listen to it at least about twice a day because I'm gonna be talking to Hank next week, and I just want to digest the album as much as possible because this is something I was really hoping for. I was hoping it wasn't just gonna be a 4-song one-off EP. I was hoping that it was gonna become a full-fledged band like it's become. And when I hear songs like Pentagram and the Cross, which is my favorite chorus on the album, I can just tell that you guys are just loving what's going on, and I really hope people will appreciate it as much as I do.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, the initial response, from some of the press that has it has been pretty phenomenal. So it's big shoes to fill, man. I mean, it's like I'm not King Diamond, and that's always going to be, something that people are going to want to hear. I mean, I could have done a King Diamond impersonation like on all these songs. I think I've got a pretty wicked King Diamond impersonation.
That you do.
But that wasn't the plan at all, man. They just wanted me to sound like Sean Peck, and hopefully now people will hear. There's a lot of people that listen to this that had no clue who I was or what I've done in the past, and I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised at the diversity of all the different voices I use on this thing to keep each song like a different attack and
Yeah, very much so. And that's what I really appreciate, especially when I listen to the album, is it doesn't sound like it's Mercyful Fate 2 or a tribute to Mercyful Fate. It just sounds like Denner Shermann with your vocals and just an all-star lineup creating some dark, evil music, but it's not meant to sound just like King Diamond. You guys are creating a new band with a new sound, diversity, the tempos, everything that's going on there. And it's showing a lot of range from all of you guys that hasn't really been shown as much as it's being shown here.
That's cool. I mean, with all that being said, though, I think that Mercyful Fate and King Diamond fans are going to just totally love it, though. They're not going to be at all disappointed. Like, this isn't in that vein, because it's definitely, some of the best stuff that, I think they've written. And then, of course, all of the album cover artwork and then the themes. I besides being the singer, I think, like, from a writing standpoint, I'd be like the perfect guy for them because I'm coming from a fan standpoint. I mean, I'm like, wrote all these songs and lyrics and melody lines like on what would a Mercyful Fate fan, want to hear and would expect from this stuff. And so that's why, all these themes and topics are like right in that vein, just to keep the same, keep the fans, and I think that's what it should be. I mean, it's that's why I was so happy they decided to go with the title Masters of Evil, because what other two musicians could pull off that title and not have anyone even think twice about it? Because, I mean, these guys have the most street credibility, like, in metal, that you can imagine. So, I think all the Mercyful Fate fans are going to be super pumped on this record.
Well, as also a longtime Mercyful Fate fan, I can easily say, of course, with enough dynamics that it's not Mercyful Fate, being a Mercyful Fate fan, I love what's going on the album.
Yeah, like a song like, The Baroness is like, I think the Mercyful Fate fans are going to lose their minds, and Son of Satan and stuff, when they hear those two songs, they're going to just go, oh my God, this is great. But, there's been a lot of comments like, can they release an instrumental album? or God, if only King Diamond were singing these songs. But people got to remember, I wrote these melody lines, I wrote these lyrics, so it may have ended up a lot different than, if King Diamond got a hold of these. But anyways, we're excited that it's Denner Shermann, and I just wanted to, like you said, create our own identity, but yet not pay respect, but definitely capture the magic of the past, shall we say.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have it any other way with you guys.
Cool.
So, have you had the chance to rehearse any of these songs for a live setting?
We've only done the EP. You know, we've only played one show, so we did a bunch of Mercyful Fate songs and then the EP. And so, no, I'm just starting to rehearse them now because we have a festival in July 8th coming up pretty soon. So
that's right.
I always have to, you know, recording the song and then going to play it live is always a challenge. Like, oh man, what did I do to myself? I got to be able to sing this for real now. You know, it's like, I always make it so hard on myself. I'm like, why do I do this? So it's definitely gonna be interesting.
Is there any songs in particular that you're having kind of a trouble with that you'll be able to get by that time of the show?
No, I mean, I'm sure I'll be fine, man. I don't expect any problem. The main problem is like my writing styles. I overlap a lot. I do, you know, just for the effect. So sometimes, you know, like with Cage, you know, we have 3 other guys singing, and so those parts that are crucial to the song. Kind of like a chorus of like, can you hear me?
Yep, still here.
Okay, so kind of like if you take the chorus of like New Gods or something, you know, there's like a couple things going on, and it's, you know, it's just my writing style. So only if there's like multiple voices singing different stuff at the same time do I gotta figure out how to do it.
Well, I mean, it does make sense. I mean, but I know you guys got it in you to be able to make a fantastic show out of it, and I know it's not exactly easy to be able to like make this like a full-fledged touring or anything like that, but it's just cool to see, even if it's just a one-off show coming up in July 8th, that these songs are getting performed live.
No, we are going to be touring. We're going to be touring the United States, yeah, and we're going to be touring Europe and it looks like South America. So there's big touring plans coming.
Oh, I didn't even realize it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a band and it's going to be out there and, you know, full steam ahead and super, super exciting.
So would you say that's your top priority then?
You know, whenever I get the, you know, what's your top priority question, it's like, you know, I don't like to diminish any of the other bands because, you know, whatever opportunities come up for whatever band, you know, that's the top priority. And
right.
I always, you know, I give it, you know, my past history. I mean, I'm a real, you know, always pushing, always making progress. So, you know, there's stuff that just come up for Cage that we need to do. And, you know, Death Dealer's got a new record that we're going to be working on. And Cage, I mean, we're like 75% done with the next record for that. So, yeah, but there's, you know, just how the scheduling works. But, you know, in 2016, there's definitely going to be a heavy amount of Dennis Shermann, that's for sure.
Oh, very cool. And yeah, I'm glad to see that all the bands are being treated equally, because that's what I think you should do as a musician. If you're putting yourself into that many different projects, I think every project deserves the same respect as any other project that you're doing, and I'm glad you have that mindset.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, Cage is different because Cage is a band in my town where we see each other 3 times a week. We're in the same room. We jam, you know, 2 to 3 days a week together. So that's, you know, that keeps me fresh, you know, and up to par with my singing ability. But it's also a lot easier to mobilize because we're all here together. We can go do whatever we want to do. You know, Death Dealer, you know, Stu's got to fly in from Australia. And then Dennis Shermann, you know, we got to go over to Europe. So it's definitely a different dynamic. You know, Cage has been playing since 1992, so we're super tight. You know, everything is just like a freaking machine gun. And then you go to play with the other bands, and it's, you know, it's always frantic. You don't have much time to practice. So you do as good as you can, and it always comes out great because, you know, you're working with such insane professional dudes. But there's something to be said, you know, to being in that room, you know, month after month after month, jamming together. It's just natural. It's just like, you know, a sports team that practices together all the time versus an all-star group.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. I mean, of course, you know, just like having an amazing repertoire of all the albums that you've been a part of, all the different lineups that you've had in different formations, but having like a band that you're able to just be able to jam with a few times a week, being able to just having to focus on working at home, just listening back to the music, that's always a great way to be able to keep that spirit of being in a live setting, being able to jam with other musicians pretty much every week.
Yeah, I mean, the bass player in Dennis Shermann, Mark Grabowski's, is like, damn, you know, I need a band out here. I don't get to play, you know, so he doesn't get to jam every week, and, you know, I'm jamming every week, and then,
you know, we hang the Cage guys. We hang out. You know, we're going to a club tonight to see Anvil together. So it's a little bit of a different vibe. But then on the flip side of that, it's always exciting when you see your bandmates for the band you haven't seen for a long time in the Death Dealer or the Denner Shermann setting. You know, because I get every time I see Hank and Michael now, it's just like I'm so excited because they're such cool dudes. So, you know, it's cool to have a different thing. The thing I like is that, you know, these three bands I have now, they're all original bands. I'm not like the replacement singer of the guy who left X band, you know, or the new singer for band Y. And I've had lots of offers over the years to sing for some of these well-known bands. And like I did the brief stint with Warrior, for example. But I'm glad that, you know, these bands that I'm in are like complete original bands, and the first product is a product that came out with my voice on it. So I'm really liking what I got going right now. I mean, I doubt I would add another band into the repertoire. I'm super love all Death Dealer, Cage, and Denner Shermann. I couldn't be freaking happier.
And it gets to show off so many sides of your personality as well. I mean, it's one thing to be able to be the singer of a well-known band, being the replacement singer, but it's another thing to be able to have three original bands with three different identities that you're able to pull off like you are.
Yeah, I mean, keeping the identity separate is they're not that far apart from each other.
Right.
You know, they're still in the same genre, and I still write the same style. So, so far the identities have definitely not been clouded yet. But it's not going to be easy moving forward writing three new records. But like I said, the Denner Shermann thing's cool because I get to write all these scary stories and frickin' tales of the supernatural and all that shit that I love. So I'm just like, I love everything about it. Just the whole imagery we got, the past history and the mystique of these guys, and you know, like I said, someone who's gonna look at the album cover for Masters of Evil and like see this artwork and go, oh my god, and then flip it over and look at the track listing and just go, holy shit. I always imagine, like, what are they gonna think when they see the titles of these songs? So super excited. Like I said, we have a music video coming out too, which is going to be pretty fantastic, and I can't wait till that song hits and people, you know, because people have just heard Angel's Blood right now, and then the 90-second teaser, and when they hear the video track, that's when I think they're going to be just like, holy shit, is this what's going on? So we save, you know, the best like right before the album comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely the great way to do it. I mean, even though I have the album, I know I'm going to be picking it up and I cannot wait to see like the imagery that's going to be going on, because I have like ideas in my head of like music videos for the songs, but seeing the original vision that you guys have for the videos, that's going to be really cool to see right before it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you've read the lyrics and stuff, so you know and heard the songs, so you know there could be an insane music video for like every single song we put on this thing. That's what I love about it.
Oh, very much so. So a question I'm sure that you've gotten asked a lot, and I'm sure you're going to be asked a lot more when you're doing press. When you guys are going to be doing the live shows, are you just going to be sticking to the Denner Shermann stuff, or is there going to be any Mercyful Fate songs that are going to be played live?
No, I think we've agreed to play like 3 or 4 every night, so we're definitely throwing some in. I mean, the first show we played, we had to do 6 because we only wanted to reveal the EP, and then the first time I ever played with Hank and Michael was at the Titans of Metal All-Star kind of thing in Tel Aviv, Israel, and there we did Evil and Come to the Sabbath, and the place went frickin' nuts. That's on YouTube. If you looked up Titans of Metal, you know, Hank Shermann, Michael Denner, and you can see a couple like insane videos of us doing those two, so you can get an idea what it sounds like.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I didn't even realize that you guys were doing that. I thought you were just focusing on the original material, so I'm going to be checking that out right after this.
Yeah, we're definitely going to give them a little taste of the past. Can't deny everybody that. Of course, they're going to want to hear some Mercyful Fate songs.
Oh, very much so. So, I'm assuming when all the touring is going to be happening, I'm assuming these are all headlining shows that are going to be happening, the non-festival shows?
Yeah, right now it's going to be a headlining tour.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, a great mix of Mercyful Fate and the brand new Denner Shermann songs. That's going to make for an awesome night.
Yeah, man. I'm just, like I said, just want to get it down. You know, once we get where we're, you know, a lethal lethal group of performers. I think it's going to be fantastic. The one show we did, I mean, the people lost their minds. It was sold out. They just went nuts. So super cool time.
Oh, very much so. And of course, with everything that's going on with Cage and Death Dealer as well, has the incorporation of being a part of Dinner Sherman helped your creativity as far as Cage and Death Dealer at all?
It's definitely helped the exposure, because still tons of people have no clue about Cage or Death Dealer, So people that are, Mercyful Fate obviously has, millions and millions of fans all over the world, and so they're going, who's this singer? Where is he from? And so it's definitely, we're getting some great trickle down exposure from me singing with such, two guitar legends. So it's definitely been a big help. People that are realize, I just saw, I was on YouTube and I saw some people going, oh man, this guy sang a song called King Diamond. So, I say that off the Hell Destroyer album, the bonus track was called King Diamond, and that was one of our most popular songs. So it's interesting when people are discovering all this.
Yeah, it's funny because that was one of the first songs that I discovered Cage from, along with Hell Destroyer, and then I actually got to see you guys at Station 4 in St. Paul, Minnesota a few years back, and that was still one of my favorite shows that I've been to.
Oh, cool! Yeah, it was. Those were fun. I mean, I remember the crowd wasn't too big, but we had a great time, and everyone was totally into it that was there. So we might be back there end of August. So who knows?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happens, I mean, I will definitely be there. I want to be able to experience everything that you guys got going on. So that'd be really cool.
Awesome.
So in your free time, if you do have any free time with all the stuff that's going on, what do you do to relax when you're not focusing on music?
I play soccer, I snowboard, I'm pretty gnarly ping pong player, I play a lot of poker at casinos, I play a lot of video games, and, I'm a big comic book superhero guy, so I'm always going to see, the latest movies, any superhero blockbuster, I'm first day, waiting in line, IMAX. So I'm a big pop culture dude. So between all those activities, and then I give a little bit of time, just a tiny bit of time to my girlfriend. That's how I live my life.
It sounds like a fantastic life, though, being able to do all of that stuff, be able to keep a relationship, and have 3 active running bands. I mean, that's like a dream come true.
Yeah, keeping a relationship. I think my girlfriend would want to argue that point. I don't know if keeping the relationship is how she would put it, but hey honey, it's I live for the glory of steel, so hopefully you can enjoy the ride and the leftovers. Women out there are going, he's an asshole, listening to this interview, going, what an asshole. I'm just joking. She gets plenty of love. I just cleaned the house this morning. I mean, come on.
That's gotta help.
Yeah, I just went and busted my ass cleaning the house. So, all right, ladies, everybody calm down. Just did a little Sean Peck humor.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I'm gracious that you took the time to be able to do this interview, just because I mentioned I received the promo from Metal Blade, and just being able to set this up and talk about the brand new album that's going to be... Again, I think people are going to be enjoying this as much as I do, whether they're going to be a brand new fan or they discovered you guys from Satan's Tomb. I think people are going to be very happy with what's going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm dying to get some more reviews and feedback, because like I said, so far it's been really good, and I hope people's freaking minds are blown. I think it's some of the best stuff Hank Shermann and Michael Denner